Hi everyone, welcome to the fifth episode of the fifth season of the Journey Hub. And today we have a special guest with us, Nidhi Mehra, account manager and Walmart Connect Canada, who has more than 9 years of experience in the industry and also who came to Canada pretty much recently, I would say. So we are excited to have you with us today and hear more about your journey. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Darina. Thank you so much for the introduction. Hi, guys. I'm Nidhi. I moved to Canada in 2018. Struggled a lot to get into my industry. Finally got into Walmart Connect, and I'm working as an account manager since July 2021 now. And yeah, that's about it.
Why, tell us more about why did you choose the journey of marketing, advertising? Is there anything specific you like about it?
As you said that I moved to Canada from India with a decade of experience, and I moved here with an experience in media sales and account management. I was a media salesperson who sold advertising for TV, for digital websites, for apps. So yeah, this was and is my industry. It's not that I changed it. It's just that when I moved to Canada, I had to work in lots of other industries before getting into my own. So yeah, that's the reason I chose it, because I chose it from the very beginning. I did my post-graduation in communications management. Then that's the industry I worked in all through.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And is there anything specific you like about it?
I think I was always very intrigued and curious to look at advertising, to look at marketing, to look at how people market products and they get sold. Like, what is it that kind of influences people to buy what they buy? So yeah, that was one thing that was in my mind. And marketing always looked like a very exciting industry instead of finance, which to me is kind of boring.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in terms of advertising, I do understand, considering we as marketeers and platforms are such things which can be, quite intriguing when you're selling it and you're specifically in media sales. So that sounds like very interesting to all the people out there, all the audience out there. And it kind of, it is a different channel when you're doing a sales kind of a perspective and when you're doing a work and, making it as a marketeer perspective. So it's quite challenging, and sometimes people think from a different perspective, but a different role for all the audience out there. It's a different role. It's a different challenge that Nidhi is doing specifically. So yeah, it sometimes sounds quite easy, but it's quite challenging and intriguing for sure. So yeah. Moving on to the next question in terms of from a journey perspective now to into more from a day-to-day perspective, that how do you feel inspired for your everyday for your job? Like, what makes you feel inspired about your for your job every day?
I think because I have that amount of experience, there is always that zeal and motivation internally to establish myself in Canada. I wanted to establish myself in my field, obviously reach heights, grow up the ladder. That's one thing. Another thing is because of the kind of work you do and the kind of people you work with, you have this intrinsic motivation to contribute to whatever you are doing, to contribute to the team, to contribute to the overall business objective, and kind of overachieve in terms of whatever your KRAs or KPIs are. So I think these are the two main things that kind of keep me motivated to my everyday job. So yeah.
And probably just the follow-up questions to that, totally understand what you just mentioned, and I agree with that too. That helps me as well. But I know right now, we most of us work from home, and it's for some it's been a little bit challenging. I know a lot of companies are trying to get back to more or less normal and go to the office. I heard some feedback from some people that it's very difficult to stay focused because you're back to the office, you're around people, everyone is like, hey, what's going on? You're like socializing all the time. Is that the case for you? And tell us more like about your environment. Like, do you work from home? And if you do, what helps you to stay focused? Or if you work in the office, what helps you stay focused over there?
That's a great question, actually. As far as working from home or working from office is concerned, I don't think one size fits all. Everybody has their set of priorities. So for me, working from home is amazing. Reason being, I am a mother of two kids. I manage my time. I manage my time with my kids. So for example, and the great thing about Walmart Connect is that they give me this flexibility to manage my work rather than be in front of the system from 9 to 5. So I can, let's say, log off at 4 if my kids are at home, attend to them, have some time with them, dinner with them and all that. And let's say once they're off to bed, I can log in back again at 8 or 9, whatever, depending upon my kind, my work, the things on my plate and all that. So I think this is one thing that's great. Considering I stay in Mississauga and the office would have been in Toronto, commute one side would have been 2 hours. So this works out amazingly well. On the other hand, when you talk about working in office, of course, a little bit of check-in, that social connection, that team bonding, of course, that's also important. And again, our company has given us numerous opportunities to connect. So I joined last year in July. From July up till now, I have met my team 3 or 4 times already in person. So, so I think the environment that Walmart Connect has given us is amazing, flexible as far as doing your work is concerned, at the same time giving you opportunities for that personal connection and team bonding. So yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that is what when you work with such a big, large enterprise company like Walmart, you get it, and it's always good to be flexible. I mean, from a media perspective, what you mentioned is I completely agree, 100% agree that if you're in media, specifically in marketing or in sales, you need to be very flexible, and considering from a mother perspective, the hiccups that comes up and the flexibility that you need to generate along with working, and in itself is a quite a commendable job. Working flexibility in terms of what you're doing from a mother perspective, and then working from a media sales or from an account manager perspective to such a large enterprise like Walmart. So I think so that's an add-on that you get when you work with such a big company. Along with that, as you mentioned, you get a hybrid model. You are, of course, you are interacting with your team also. So that's where the human connect come in. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, such are the perks of working with Walmart. I could say again and again and again, because it is such a big enterprise for sure. So yeah, I mean, in connection to that question, since you're working at Walmart, I mean, for a normal person, let's say if there is a kid outside, or who has just graduated in marketing, let's say a newcomer, what does it take? Or let's say if someone is not exactly a person who has just graduated, let's say if someone has an experience of, let's say, 5 to 7 years of experience into industry, specifically media sales, what does it take to be a Walmart Connect account manager like what you are?
Um, Interesting question, I must say. So if somebody has experience already, and let's say they already know what it takes, I think more than anything else, I mean, of course, I'll talk about the certifications. You should be equipped with what the certifications or maybe the educational or the qualifications that are required, that are minimum. The second is there should be a know-how of what's happening in the industry. if tomorrow you are going for an interview, you should be aware about at least what's happening as far as the industry is concerned. What are the pain points? What are the new, technologies? What are the new challenges that the industry is facing, so that at least you are equipped to present yourself that, you are experienced and you know what's happening in that. Apart from that, I think once you are experienced, you know this thing that more than the qualifications are important, but more than the qualification, it's the attitude towards that work which is important. The moment you join, and see, nobody gets a perfect employee or a perfect candidate. It's just that once you join an organization, you have to tweak the way you're working as per your team, as per your organization. And it all depends whether you get to learn or whether you get to be included, you feel included. It all depends on your attitude towards adjusting in and showing that, you are capable of things and you can learn more than anything else.
Yes, definitely agree with you. And that's usually when people that are getting hired, like in our organization or like any other like organization it was before, staying in is it usually depends on like how the person like position themselves, what they want to do, if they're able to learn. Sometimes you talk to people and they just have their own like understanding how things are done and they're not willing to learn or change. So definitely that's a great point. And also just a question for you then too. So right, like I'm a social specialist. Before that, I was a social media manager, and before that, I was a paid social specialist, and also was like social lead and I think social coordinator, and all of those things. I feel like it's all so mixed up in the industry, and when the person graduates, they're like, okay, who am I going to be? Like, what kind of a position should I apply to? So could you please tell more, like, if you don't mind, so you're account manager. So if the person wants to be like you or get into career ladder to get in a position like you're in right now, what steps or what position they would need to take and what your position actually entails? Like, what do you do on a daily basis? Just so people who are listening to us can understand, okay, maybe I want to do that too.
Sure. Okay, so I guess there are two parts of your question. One is that how somebody reaches to the account manager level,
Yes.
and second, what an account manager does.
Yes.
So to reach to an account manager level, see, it depends from company to company. Like in Walmart Connect, we have an account manager role. We don't have any account coordinator or account executive roles. But otherwise, in the industry, to be an account manager, like the first step is you get into an account coordinator role, where at the end of the day, you help account managers and other managers, with certain administrative duties. And then you reach to an account manager level. Now, to explain the account manager role, it's a post-sales role. So my sales director closes the deal. He closes a media plan. Media plan is done and dusted, sold. Now for execution, that media plan comes to me. Once that media plan comes to me, now the execution from this sales part up till the end, generating report, campaign end, is my responsibility. Whether it is booking the creative tactics, the premium ad units in the system is concerned on walmart.ca. What are those premium ad units? I need to book that. I need to have the entire media plan into the system so that all the other internal stakeholders can access it. After that, I'm that bridge between external stakeholders like media agencies, clients, and internal stakeholders like finance, creative. So whatever happens to that media campaign in terms of creative output, that also goes through me. I'm supposed to set the expectations right between the internal as well as the external parties. Once this is done and the campaign starts, then optimizing the campaign, making sure that we are delivering as far as our benchmarks are concerned, and not just delivering, overachieving those, those deliverables, because this campaign is not just you take the campaign and end the campaign. That's not the objective. The objective is finally, everybody is in sales. Even if I'm in post sales, I am in sales. The idea that I'm doing this job is to increase our sales, is to increase the revenue, so that when you execute the campaign or you do whatever activities, those are final goal is to keep the client happy, provide the best customer service possible, and then increase the business.
That's a great answer. I feel like you probably stressed out a graduate a little bit who's listening to this, but I feel like it's a great answer. Thank you so much for like thorough explanation of what it is, and it's actually very interesting. And even though I said it sounds a little bit like, oh my gosh, like there is so much involved in this, I'll be responsible for such important tasks, but also I think it's interesting and like challenging. So that's really amazing that you shared that. And I guess, yeah.
If you have your goal in mind, and I have always been a salesperson, so even when I get a project, the only thing I see is that money. I see that I need to increase those dollars. So that's what I think about. So when you have your eyes set on the goal, I think you don't lose focus then. You know that these are the things that need to be done to get to there. And that's for everyone, for any organization, that's the end objective.
That's amazing. That definitely agree with you. And honestly, I hope after you mention all of this, there'll be more people interested in like pursuing career like yours, because I feel like it's very interesting. And that's right. Like every organization just wants to get more money, wants to get like more clients, wants to make sure that they hit their objectives and actually over deliver. So that's really great that that's what you do.
We are looking for another account manager. So if anybody who's watching this and want to reach out to me on LinkedIn, please feel free.
Sounds good. Okay. Awesome. And I guess we will move to, I believe in a different question. I don't think we skipped anything. So that's kind of going back to where you started. And I personally, like, I came from Ukraine like 3 years ago, and it was super challenging. I remember myself, like I came and you need to look for a job, and then you have some other things that you need to do in school and everything. And it's very challenging. So what difficulties did you face when you came to Canada? And maybe is there anything like job search related? And if you have any difficulty that you faced, maybe there was some solution that you came up with.
Okay, so I think, and I analyzed it a lot because because I have spent more than 3 years without a job in my field. So two things that I would say, the two main challenges that I faced. Number one was, which everybody faces, is lack of connections, lack of your network. You don't know anyone. Because when I realized that when I was working in India for 9 years, I never applied for a job online, never, ever in my life. I got my first job through my college placements. After that, there was somebody, one person who knew me. He took my resume, gave it to the hiring manager, interview done, job done, and you move. That's it. So I actually never applied online, not even in India. So then I realized it after a pretty long time, that actually I never did that. So I don't even know what is the response rate like. So that's number one. I never had, like anybody else, I didn't have a network here. And I never thought that developing that network was important. And I realized it pretty late. The second thing is, which hit me hard again very late, was that there was problem with my interviewing skills. And it was very difficult for me to accept that, because I never had that challenge in India. I was born and brought up there. The college that were there on my resume were good. Everybody recognized that, and they knew that it's a top college and all that. So I got jobs like this. More than anything else, my credentials people knew about. But here, those credentials, like, people, it looks like I was talking in some other language, because they didn't know anything about what I did. So it was harder to communicate your value in an interview. So these are the top two challenges. And solution for one is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the solution. And but the thing is that when you do networking online, think of that you are doing it as you do it offline. Meet people, get on a call with them, explain what you are trying to do, instead of just connecting or rather collecting contacts on LinkedIn. That's what we do. Like, I have some 1,000 Canadian connections. Trust me, I don't know those 1,000 people. And those 1,000 people, they don't know me. We are just connecting because everybody is connecting with everybody on LinkedIn. I only have a handful of 10 or 15 people, maybe 20, that I connected with, connecting online on a video call, explained what what my experience was, what is it that I bring as a value. And those guys helped me. And yes, now I put more time in nurturing those relationships, because those 20, 25 people are my connections, not the rest of 980. So that's one thing. I think this is one thing where most of the people go wrong, because when we reach here, everybody says, LinkedIn, connect on LinkedIn, come on, connect, be active on LinkedIn. And we all go out and start connecting with people randomly, just send connection. Even I used to do that. That's how I got 1,000 connections. But that's not the idea. The idea of connecting with those people is to show them your value, so that if they understand, they can guide you in the right direction. Yeah, that's about LinkedIn. And the second is, it's very important for you to have a cheerleader or have somebody that you can confide in as far as your interviewing skills are concerned. Whenever I used to fail in an interview, I thought, they don't know me. I mean, I was overconfident. I mean, I have no shame in accepting that. I always thought there is something wrong with them, not with me. It's only after probably 2 years I realized that what is happening, I'm not, and somehow that desperation was showing. I was getting desperate. I was just trying to explain and explain because I thought there was more explanation required. And yeah, but yeah, that's about it. These are the only two things, and these are the only two solutions, I would say, that people should not assume that they know everything. There is never too late to change or learn something new.
Yeah, great point. I mean, I have to say this, that the last part that you told in terms of not to assume is something that I have to follow, and I highly recommend that. So, and the story that you told about everything here was, something that I cannot deny even a single person, because considering the world that we are living in right now, more of like, everything is online, everything is so virtual. You need to be have a presence somewhere down the line where all the so-called professional connection is there. So LinkedIn is the topmost, if not the top, then of course the top most platform where you can connect professionally and can build that. But the point that you told specifically was that how many people do you actually know, and that is something that not everyone works on, or they just it's a general tendency, it's a human tendency that everyone wants to connect with everyone in the industry that you're working on. But at the end of the day, it is all about the human connection, which I keep on mentioning to people, and everyone. So that's 100% agree. I agree. And from there, now moving into a perspective that you've told such a great story in terms of LinkedIn being such an important platform, specifically for all the people out there, or people who are looking for a job. Now, what resources do you recommend for students, or who are going to be new grads, or who have got a little bit of experience in marketing and are now post graduating, to get a, let's say, a marketing or account manager role, or account executive or sales executive role in this industry?
Uh, So I'm going to talk about things that is applicable to any role. Okay, it's not something specific to account manager or marketing. But the first step that you need to take is, let's say you want to work as an account manager at Walmart. Go to the job site, look at the job description, look at all the things that you currently do not have. Do not just look what's matching with your profile, look at what all the things that you can't match. So for example, there might be some certifications, there might be some new technologies that you are not aware about, you are not kind of hands-on with. I think more than anything else, so for example, when I joined Walmart Connect, they required Google Analytics. I never worked in Google Analytics, but the first thing that I did was I went to Coursera, picked up a course, and I did one course in like 2 or 3 days. It took me like 2 or 3 hours. It took me $10, and I did that. What it shows in that interview is she is ready to learn. She doesn't know that, she has never worked on it, but she knows the basics, she gets it, and she's ready to learn. If she has already done that before the interview, definitely once she joins, she will do it. So that attitude, that needs to come from you. That needs to show that this person is really serious about it. Another thing could be, as I said earlier, that you need to be aware about that industry, because when somebody asks you, why do you want to work here? Why do you want to work in this industry? You better know that. So yeah, I think these are the two most important things that I would like to highlight.
That's great. And for a second part, I would say that I feel like the graduates and young professionals should really think about the answer to that question, because I feel like a lot of are on a hunt for a job, but they are not really realizing like why they are doing that. It's more just kind of like, oh, I need a job to, I don't know, survive. It's more like I need to pay my bills. So and that's a good reason, but I don't think that should be a reason that probably mentioned, because there's something else that should be there. Maybe this culture, maybe environment, maybe people, maybe learning experience, like whatever. So also would say that research is a really nice thing to do before the interview, and that might help you understand like why you should do that as well. And the last questions I guess that we have right now, we only have a couple of minutes left, is the most important question, and that's the advice you would give to students or new graduates who are just getting into industry or planning to get into industry and want to get a career that is similar to yours.
LinkedIn has to be the number one thing. You guys need to be there on LinkedIn, connect with people, try and make a deeper connection. Before you ask somebody for a job, try and do some research. If nothing else, connect with, let's say you want to be an account manager, connect with me, connect with any account manager, try and understand what is it that they do. Try and kind of, I understand I can't give you an opportunity where you can mirror me, but at the same time, you can at least understand what are the things that I do on a regular basis, so that at least you know what does it sound like, whether you'll be able to do it or not. That's the best thing you can do, because people here in Canada on LinkedIn are really helpful. Trust me, I have connected with random strangers. I mean, not random, but yeah, absolute strangers, reached out to them, and people helped me. They got with me on a call, whether it's for 5 minutes or 20 minutes. They did take out that time. They did help me, because they know that this is the country that goes around like that. When they moved here, they got that help, so they are always ready to pay it forward. So I don't think, of course, everybody will not reply to you and say yes for a meeting, but if you focus on doing this thing, focus on building your connections and network stronger, I don't think that's something that's not gonna work out.
I agree, 100% agree. I mean, that couldn't be a a final statement or the closing statement better than that. I 100% agree there. There are people who need to be on LinkedIn, and if they are not, specifically the graduates who are doing the post graduation or the graduation, they need to be there because that's the platform. And we were being taught when we were in school. So yeah, that's really important. And the main part is the crux here is how niche are you in terms of your connections. So that kind of sums up what Nidhi mentioned, and it's really important. So yeah, I mean, we are pretty much it with a couple of minutes or a minute left. We again would like to thank you so much, Nidhi, for taking the time and doing this. Really appreciate it. And it's really important that what you are doing in terms of helping others out there, and what you have given in terms of this episode, and what all the audience would be listening to. So yeah, I again like to thank you, and it was a pleasure to meet you for sure.
Thank you so much. I really like the idea of meeting up, recording this, and kind of throwing it out to the public so that they can understand, they can learn, they can learn from all my mistakes that I made and try to not to make the same mistakes. I think that's fine with me. That's a good that's a good takeaway that I can take. Probably helping others not to make the same mistakes.
Thank you. Well, we really appreciate you joining us today, and we'll stay in touch and hopefully connect at some point soon again.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a good one. Take care.
Yeah,
Bye bye.
you too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care.